All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm Dr. Stephen Kane. I help people with peripheral neuropathy get out of pain and back to doing the things that they love doing. And one of the ways that I help you do it is by connecting you with the right people, products, and services that can help you get better. So we're very lucky today. We've got Robert Lewis. He's with P.E.M.F. Supply, and he's helped thousands of people with get connected with the right type of PEMF machine. And we'll talk about what it is, but it's been definitely been growing in terms of its popularity because it has been helping a lot of people with their chronic pain. So we're very lucky to have you here with us. So thanks for joining, Robert.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So the first thing I wanted to know is just maybe a bit more about you, your story, how you ended up getting connected in the PEMF world.
Sure. So I had a friend who had contacted me who was introduced to PEMF therapy, and me getting into the PEMF industry kind of stemmed from a business opportunity. But once I started using the products, the first thing that I noticed individually or personally was that I was seeing increased energy and I was sleeping a lot better. So as we got into building the business and introducing new PEMF therapy products, then we started having a lot of good reports back from people. And so we've kind of built the company from there. Now we have multiple PEMF brands and options for different products.
All right, very cool. So I think that the first thing that we should discuss here is that what exactly is PEMF?
Now, a good question. It's a lot of people, when they hear PEMF, have to figure out how to pronounce it to start with, but it stands for pulsed electromagnetic fields. Some people say pulsed electromagnetic frequencies, but at the end of the day, you're pulsing a magnetic field. And there's all different types of devices. For instance, you have some that are full body mats, kind of like a yoga mat that you can lay on. And then you have some that are circular like a ring. And then some that are more for localized therapy. But at the end of the day, it's a device that pulses an electromagnetic field.
Okay, cool. And in terms of how it helps people with their pain, with different conditions, I guess the theory behind how that works.
Sure. So a lot of people are familiar with magnetic therapy, kind of coming from, I know there were bracelets that were popular for a while that people would have on their wrists. That's what they call a static magnet. And static magnets are good, but your body can get adjusted to the magnetic field. With a pulsed magnetic field, since the magnetic fields are constantly expanding and contracting, your cells can't acclimate. So with pulsed magnetic fields, what's happening is you're stimulating the body on the cellular level, which helps the body to create the chemical, which is ATP, to produce or increase the body's voltage. And if your body has the proper voltage, it's able to properly function and fight off sickness and illness and everything. So with magnetic therapy, you're not really treating specific health concerns. You're helping the body to strengthen itself to fight off different health concerns.
All right, very, very cool. And excuse me. A lot of the reading and research I've been doing, a lot of times is compared to the PEMF or the pulsed electromagnetic fields that people we get from nature. And they explain that the more we immerse ourselves in nature, that those magnetic fields are just very healthy, very, very
Right.
healing for us. So do products try to emulate those natural fields that are found in nature?
Yes. So it can get a little bit confusing because most products, their core frequencies are frequencies that are consistent with what you'd find in nature. Typically, the Earth's constant frequency is 7.83 hertz, but there's also other frequencies around that, anywhere from 0 up to, or 0.1 up to 30 hertz is kind of the general frequency range for the Earth's natural frequency. And then our bodies also have natural frequencies, which typically operate in that range as well. So most PEMF therapy products are simulating that same frequency range. And a lot of products will also have what they call harmonic frequencies, which are higher frequencies that complement those lower ones. And so what's happening is it's resonating with different cells in your body and with different organs. And your body basically receives the ones that it can, and it strengthens those organs and helps them to stay healthy.
Cool, cool. Are there any potential side effects or health risks in using PEMF?
That's a good question. A lot of a lot of what we've heard from different brands, or if you have someone who's kind of eager to make a sale with the P.E.M.F product, is they'll say that there's zero side effects, it's perfectly safe, which in most cases is accurate. What we found is that if someone's particularly toxic, or if they're dehydrated, if they've never been exposed to magnetic therapy before, there can be some cases where they may notice some slight detox symptoms. So for someone that's just starting P.E.M.F therapy and just getting into it, the best way to do it is kind of ease into it slowly, see how your body responds, and then you can adjust from there. But as far as there being any major health risks, the magnetic fields that are emitted and the intensities are comparable to what you'd find in nature. And so it's, of all the therapies out there, it's probably the safest.
Yeah, that's definitely the experience I've had with that. Just pretty much everyone that's used it is either said it's done, wonders, it's been great, or at the very worst, they didn't get, did not get any worse. So,
Right.
From my experience and the research that I've done, it seems that it's either going to help you out quite a bit, or very worst scenario that you're
Right.
started.
One thing that we've noticed along those lines is if for people that are just starting to use P.E.M.F therapy, the more severe the health concern, the more dramatic the results. So if someone's struggling with a major health concern and they start using magnetic therapy, typically they're going to see a very good response, or a more noticeable response. So that's just something to keep in mind. If someone's in tip-top shape, it's still going to increase their performance a little bit, but it may not be like a life-changing event. So consistency is also important with P.E.M.F therapy.
Okay, cool. And lead it to the next question. So earlier you talked about easing into it when you just start doing it, especially if you're, real compromised. What are there any particular protocols, or like how much time, and what does easing into it look like? And what would they work up to if this is what they're doing?
Yeah, good question. So most companies that manufacture P.E.M.F devices recommend 8 minutes per session, or 8 to 10 minutes. I always say 8 to 12 in that general range, and twice a day. And there's actually some scientific reasoning behind that. What we found, and from the different research that's out there, for general wellness, the reason they say 8 to 12 minutes is because when you're laying on a P.E.M.F mat or using P.E.M.F therapy, your body is going to absorb most of what it can absorb in that 8 to 12 minute period. Kind of like when you plug in your cell phone to charge. Once it's fully charged, it doesn't make sense to keep it plugged in longer because you're not going to get continued benefit. So if someone gets on a mat, P.E.M.F mat, and they're on there for 8 to 12 minutes, it's going to stimulate their mitochondria, which then increases the ATP, which is the chemical that helps your body's voltage be higher and where it should be. So that's the reason why they typically recommend 8 to 12 minutes per session. And when it comes to the twice a day, because you'll hear that commonly morning and evening, or at least every 12 hours roughly, is because your body maintains that optimum voltage for 8 to 12 hours. So if you're using the mat 8 to 12 minutes twice a day, you're essentially helping to maintain that optimal charge, which then helps you to maintain optimal health.
Okay, very cool.